Hello and welcome into the very disappointed Knicks-Verse. Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, the New York Knicks' tremendous 2022-23 season has finally come to an end, and I am still grappling with the pain of losing. It hurts. It's bitter. But it cannot cloud and overwhelm the fact that we're even here, even able to experience this kind of pain and frustration. Especially when you can, the game that Jalen Brunson gave us, it has to be one of the greatest post-game performances by a point guard wearing orange and blue that we may ever see. He alone almost won us this game. Jalen Brunson, shout out to you, brother. I am completely, utterly impressed. I have goosebumps right now. You guys can see it from just thinking about how incredible a performance that was. And yes, that final turnover was brutal. We're not even there. We don't even have a chance to feel the agony and pain of that final turnover if it weren't for your incredible heroics. I am overwhelmed by your performance and completely underwhelmed by the performance of the other two. It's sad that RJ Barrett chose this game. Not that he chose. That's a misuse of words, but it's sad that RJ Barrett couldn't step up in this game. I did not expect much from Randall, but he was actually even more of a disruption and a negative presence out on the court. I don't care what the plus minus is. I don't care what anything. When he was out there, he made a few excellent plays, but overall, when you are chosen to be one of the three best forwards in all of the NBA, and you cannot deliver a performance tonight to get your team the win, that's shameful, honestly. And I don't know what you're going to do, bro. Going to do some meditating or whatever, but I'm fucking disgusted by your performance. Disgusted by your entire performance in this playoffs. Julius, you have no excuses for what happened. No excuses. It's just shocking to me. RJ Barrett is 22. And I'm disgusted by his turnovers as well. But disgusted by it. And I'm sure he's disgusted by it himself. I haven't listened to anything anyone else has said. Any post-game, anything. Just prepped to come on here to share the final recap live with you guys. And I really appreciate everyone joining me here. Thank you so much. Just hit that thumbs up button for me and drop your comments later. And if you haven't subscribed, please, do so. And share this video if you'd like. Right now, this is a dark day for anyone in orange and blue, because it was there. It was there for us. We could have won this game. We could have had a game 7 on Monday. I know how difficult it is. I know all the verbiage and all the blah, 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 blah. But it was right there. Miami didn't beat us. We beat ourselves by not trusting ourselves and each other. Passing up too many open looks, trying to make something else happen. And our lack of ball movement once again puts so much pressure on Jalen Brunson, and he's also partially responsible for it as well. But I get the concept. I get the trade-off. He's like, should I just hold the ball and try to work it and try to make something happen on my own? Do we have a better chance of resulting in a make than if I just swing the ball around and pass it around? It's a tough decision. But in the end, over time, the ball that moves is the ball that finds the net. And that's why Miami won. They kept the ball moving all night long, and the Knicks did not. They kept holding on to it too long, and then it resulted in mistakes. It resulted in turnovers. It resulted in the Miami defense finding enough time to settle in. Even though the New York Knicks only committed 12 turnovers, they allowed 10 points scored off those 12. Now, the Heat committed 7 turnovers, but they only allowed 5 points. So that's a -5 for us, and that's pretty much the game. Pretty much the game. As you can see, we lost 96-92. 96-92. Jalen Brunson's performance, honestly, let's just get to it. Shout out to the chat. I see Splash 1976. What's up, brother? NASA from NYC. Small Train 68, man. Stanley Man, what's up? Yes, Randall played like garbage. Yes, like garbage. I don't know how the dude can really, I don't know how he's going to look at himself in the mirror all summer long. I don't know. I'm kind of shocked, man. Shout out to Sandman, Joe Long, Jose Castillo, Francisco Carrillo. What's up, brother? Sherry Scott. Who else we got? Joe Long in the house. We got South Bronx, New York in the house. Whoever else have I missed you? Chris Lopez. What's up, brother? Jalen Brunson tonight, thanks to Knicks Muse. 41 points. He shot 64%. Jalen Brunson shot 64%. The rest of the Knicks starters shot 15.6%. He shot 41. He made 41 points, shot 64%. The rest of the Knicks starters shot 5 for 32. 15.6%. Any of those other 4 starters, if each of those 4 starters make one more bucket, we sail to Game 7. If just 2 of those make a bucket, we're right there. Maybe we're in overtime. Just one more bucket. I got to say, when RJ got the ball stripped by Lowry and the right baseline there, it like literally felt like a knife was jabbed into my heart. And he, all the theatrics like he was not fouled. I mean, maybe in the regular season, the early contact is a foul. But they were allowing that. When the actual strip came, it was pretty clean by postseason standards. Now, I know you're 22. This is only your second postseason. But that's the kind of awareness that you need to learn how to adjust to. When a guy, a champion, Lowry is a champion. Lowry and Kevin Love are champions on that team. And the others have come close. They've been to finals. They've been to Eastern Conference finals. Jimmy Butler, Bam. When you're playing against a team like that, you got to protect the ball. You cannot allow yourself to be stripped. I would rather you shove your shoulder in that guy's jaw, honestly. I would rather put the pressure on the refs to make a tough call than to allow a strip. Because that's how you win. You don't win by giving the ball away. Even though the Knicks only committed 10 turnovers, which seems really... 12 turnovers. 12 turnovers. It was 10 earlier. When the stats, for some reason, they take a while to update themselves. But look at this guy. 4 rebounds, 3 assists, 5 of 10 from the three-point line. Emptied the tank. Yes, he did empty the tank. Ian Begley tweeted out, Knicks fall in Game 6 to Heat to end their season. Jalen Brunson was brilliant for New York Knicks. 41 points, 14 of 22. But his turnover with 16 seconds to go, and the Knicks trailing only 92-90, was crucial. Outside of Brunson, the New York Knicks starters went a combined 5 for 32. Miami outscored New York Knicks by 18 in the paint. RJ, you were like killing it in the paint all season, all playoffs long, all series long. Couldn't buy a bucket. Couldn't buy a bucket in the paint. Randall, same. Grimes, missed from outside. It came down to almost a one-man show. So in this respect, I should not be as devastated that we lost, because it was a one-man show pretty much, but still, it was almost enough to win. Almost enough. New York basketball, NBA_New York tweeted this out. Julius Randle as the Knicks are eliminated in Game 6 loss. 15 points, 3 of 14 shooting. 1 of 7 from 3. 11 rebounds, 2 blocks. The one block that he had earlier in the first half was tremendous. 2 blocks, 3 turnovers. 3 turnovers for him. RJ Barrett was 1 of 10 tonight. 1 of 10. 0 for 3 from behind the three-point line. Only 2 rebounds, 1 assist in 32 minutes. 11 points. I am sure that this performance is going to sting all summer long for Rowan Jr. There's no doubt. Quentin Grimes, 32 minutes. 1 of 6, 3 points. 2 rebounds, 3 assists. Mitch Robinson, 2 points for him, 29 minutes, but did get 11 boards, 1 assist. The starters didn't have it, and the bench provided 20 points tonight. Biggest output they've had in a little while. Josh Hart, congrats to you, brother, on your the birth of your twins, and you made it to this game. Fantastic. Your stat line looks better than the actual output that you put out on that court. Once again, stupid fouls. 5 personal fouls here. You got into foul trouble early for no reason. No reason. There it is. There is a big difference between playing with max effort and reckless abandon. And you ride that line. And during this entire playoff series, you actually were on the negative side of that. You way overdid it. You didn't make winning plays. You did not make winning plays overall. You killed the momentum several times. I'm not even just talking about this particular game. But it cannot be understated. Cannot be understated or overstated, should I say. I was corrected. It cannot be overstated by Julius Randle's utter collapse in this playoff series. For a guy who was voted on the third-team All-NBA to give you 15 points on 14 field goal attempts, it's just shocking to me. Shocking. Shout out to Lex the Destroyer. Thank you so much, brother. Best mod around. I appreciate everything you've done all season long. Truly from my heart. I appreciate you holding it down in the chat for me. I appreciate the super chat. He says Miami cheat. Cheat in 6. Yeah, the Miami cheat. Yeah, it was tough. It was tough. Let's see what's chat saying before I get a little further into this. Got a robust chat going, which I love. Just to pull back for a second, because obviously this game is difficult to swallow, because the end of a season is always difficult to swallow. The Knicks were right there to steal this game. And I say steal because the way they just could not score in that second quarter, put us behind, let Miami get back into it, and by the half, Miami had a 3-point lead, and it just seemed like the momentum was shifting their way, and the Knicks did a decent job of kind of hanging in there, but it was really Brunson who was doing it. But before I get to that, it cannot be overstated how what a great position the Knicks are currently in. We have a all-NBA, definitely all-star worthy starting point guard who literally left it all out on the court, and I'm sure he's going to beat himself up tonight for that turnover, which is fine, because that's what winners do, and he should beat himself up for it. Because at the end of the day, even if what you're doing is tremendous and Herculean, if at the end of the day you don't complete the mission, there's very little that you can take from it, that you can feel good about it. Because the reason he is that kind of guy that leaves it all on the court is because he doesn't accept defeat. He doesn't accept it. So for him to, even though he put us in the position to win it, flagrant foul late, which was clearly a flagrant foul, it resulted in 4 points for us. We were down 6. It resulted in 4 points. We cut it down to 2, and then we got the stop on our end, and we were right there. 30-something seconds left in the game. The ball was in the right man's hands. But what did Miami do? They put Max Strus on the right block, and then Jimmy kind of guided Brunson into that double team, and Jalen tried to split between the two, and he got, he had to do something, but at that moment, Josh Hart was not in the right place. Josh Hart was at the top of the key, but there was too much congestion. Josh Hart should have rotated over towards the right, behind the three-point line, to give Brunson some place to send the ball. Instead, he tried to force a pass to Julius Randle, who was cutting into the paint, but Julius was never open. He was never actually open in that. Brunson was just hoping. He was just desperate. And a lot of that is because Hart was in the wrong spot. This is just the way, when it comes down to these moments, this is what happens sometimes. Literally, someone being in the wrong place can cost you a game. Yes, you play 47 minutes and 30-something seconds. You battle, and you're only down 2. You've done a lot of things right. You've done some things wrong, but in the end, you're right there to win it. But someone who's on the court who probably should not even have been on the court, honestly. He should not have been on the court. And we missed Emmanuel Quickley tremendously in these last 3 games. Tremendously. 2 games. Actually, I think he didn't. He played Monday, but he was in the wrong spot. But the Knicks are right now, for the first time, I would say, in 30 years, since the mid-90s, the Knicks for the first time. Because the 99 Knicks, yeah, they were a special team. They're a unique team. They were a good team. We could go back to that team as well. So in 24 years, first time in 24 years that the New York Knicks are sitting in an excellent position right now. We have an all-star power forward, which failed us in the postseason. But we have and he's an all-NBA power forward. But we have at the point someone who should be an all-star. And I did see quickly, on Twitter, Spoelstra saying that guy should be all-NBA, should be all-star. He's talking about Brunson. Absolutely. And we have a young guy, R.J. Barrett, 22 years old, who this is going to be a tremendous learning experience for him. I'm sure he's going to reflect on this, and he's going to modify his game. And I have great belief that he will improve and become better. And we have a really good, very good, deep roster, despite the way Thibs uses them. Isaiah Hartenstein, I think he's only 24, 25. He's young himself. Mitch is young. Hart is a little older, but Josh Hart, his energy that he brings is tremendous, except he's got to learn himself how to play in the postseason. He tried to carry what got us here, what got him here, into the postseason. It doesn't work that way in the playoffs. It doesn't. He was left wide open at the top of the key in one possession. Like, wide open. Luckily, we got him the ball, and he made the bucket. But many times we've seen him pass it up. And you can't pass up shots when you're left wide open, or else you're rewarding the defense. You're rewarding the defense. And that's something that he's going to have to change up next year. Obi Toppin. I thought Obi Toppin played a very good series against the Heat. I think in a lot of ways, the biggest mistake that was made in this game was not having Obi Toppin out there for the entire fourth quarter. That guy can shoot. He hit 2 of 5 from the three-point line. Leave him out there. Maybe he hits 2 of 5 again. I mean, we needed outside shooting. We needed floor spacing. Could have used him out there. Really could have used him out there. We got Drew Reviews Music. What's up, brother? Okay, I'll check that out. Big L 139 Lennox. What's up, man? Yeah, Julius Randall's good. See ya. Bayard Carminicki. We need to move the ball much better. Miami beat us because they swing the ball much better than we do. They do. And I tell you, that is part of coaching and practice. I mean, do they have better passers in general overall than we do? I'd say yes. But that doesn't mean that we don't have guys who can't pass. We can. They can. It just has to be something that the coach leans into, and the players see that that's something that the coach wants them to do. Got to do that. Who else we got? We got Taka Otsu. What's up, brother? To build a proper team around Brunson in the offseason. That's going to be the next journey. What's going to happen in the offseason? What will the Knicks do? We got Damian Mann in the house, too. We got Josh Smooth. Mark Jackson for coach. Agent Reality. Yes, hit that like button. Thank you. Appreciate that. But really, we got all our draft picks. We don't have a draft pick for this season yet. Maybe we'll get lucky. Maybe Dallas will get punked, and they'll end up with the 11th pick, and it comes to New York. We'll see. Maybe the Knicks acquire a first-round pick in this upcoming draft. Not sure, because we've done well. We've done well with those draft picks in the 20s. We don't have much money to get into free agency, and the free agency class isn't anything special, but there's a lot of good players that you can find out there. I think the obsession with acquiring superstars and stars has clouded the reality that sometimes it's the little acquisitions that make all the difference. The Denver Nuggets are probably going to be the Western Conference champions, and they're going to be in the finals. And they did a couple of moves. They added Contavious Caldwell Pope, who has been a tremendous addition for them. They traded, basically, in essence, they traded Gary Harris for him. They didn't trade him, but I mean, like, they swapped him out. Fantastic. The guy he's won a championship with the Lakers before, so he understands how it works. He doesn't shy away from the magnitude of the moment. And then they also acquired Bruce Brown. Bruce Brown? Yeah. That guy, I think he was a former Net. Tremendous pickup. And that's those additions to the current core. But remember, they also acquired 2 seasons ago Aaron Gordon. So it was a process. Who can we put around Jokic and Murray to turn this into a truly championship squad? Well, they've done a brilliant job, and now they were the first team to advance. The second team to advance is Miami Heat, unfortunately, because of the Knicks. But they're right there. So now the question is, do the Knicks think they build around Brunson and Randall? Brunson, Randall, and Barrett? I'm telling you guys right now. And I hate to say it because, the guy had a tremendous season, and we really wouldn't even be here right now, necessarily. We would not necessarily be here if it weren't for his tremendous effort in the regular season. I'm talking about Julius Randle. But Julius Randle is just not someone you build a team around. He's a piece. He can't handle the pressure. He can't handle the magnitude of the moment. He has played 16 postseason games. 16. And not once has he had a game where he was the man who won the game for his team. This is an all-NBA, all-star. This is where, remember, when you listen to Shaq and Charles talk, they're like, yeah, you get 24 in the season. That means you got to get like 34, 44 in the postseason if you're the man. Not 15, not 13. Julius has to go, Leon. Figure it out. In some ways, I believe that we actually could have won this series if Obi Toppin had been the starter for the New York Knicks at the power forward spot. I truly believe that. I just don't see anything that Julius provided that Obi couldn't have done, and also been a part of better floor spacing, better ball movement. Yes, you're a great rebounder. You're a good rebounder, Julius Randle. You're an excellent rebounder. And that's something that's lacking with Obi. Absolutely. But the way an offense flows and the vibe of the team when you're on the court in these playoffs was just atrocious, man. Atrocious. In fact, right now we're going to look up the stats for Julius Randle. I'm going to look him up for all the playoffs. Julius Randle in the 2022-23 playoffs averaged 16.8 points per game. 16.8, under 17 points per game. He averaged under 40% from the field, 39.1%. In 9 games, he played 9 games, he shot 27% from the three-point line. He shot 67% from the free throw line. All of those went down. All of those went down. In the postseason, when you're the man and the ball's in your hands, all of that should go up. Instead, it went down. That tells me you don't have truly the fire and desire that's needed to succeed and get the ring. So now I want you off my team. Off. I don't want Julius Randle on this team. I don't want next season to start with Julius Randle on this team. I don't care. I don't care. I don't want him on this team. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of having to roll my eyes, look the other way, hope that he might do something later. It's over for me. If you had stepped up to match the effort, like Brunson averaged 26.5 points per game in the entire playoffs. He didn't shoot great from the three-point line, 30%. Shot 45.7% overall. But the guy was double-teamed, triple-teamed constantly. But 45.7% overall, that's good. That's good considering your style of play. RJ Barrett finished the playoffs, this year's playoffs, averaging 20.1 points per game. He shot 45.5%. Shot 34.5% from the three-point line. He ended up being our best three-point shooter in the playoffs. So obviously, we need to add shooting. Now, we have it. Quentin Grimes. This was his second season. First season in the playoffs. Emmanuel Quickley. Third season. Second season in the playoffs. Didn't step up. Didn't mean he wouldn't have necessarily. He could have caught fire at one point. He did have a couple of decent games, but he ended up shooting only 24.3%. Josh Hart. 32.1%. He's not the answer from outside. He's like a PJ Clark guy. PJ Tucker type of guy. But even Tucker is more dependable from the three-point line, especially from the corner, than Josh Hart has been in the playoffs. So we need to add outside shooting, dependable outside shooting. We need to add good decision makers, and we need to add guys who move the ball, who know how to pass the ball. That's what we need to add to this team. New York Knicks finished in the top 8 this season. They made it to the Elite 8, the conference semifinals, which is tremendous, and that should not be overlooked at all. It should be applauded. It's fantastic. It's the reason that I'm suffering right now is because we were so close to getting to that Eastern Conference Finals. But it required somebody else stepping up to match Jalen Brunson's output. Doesn't mean the exact numbers, but you know what I mean, the effectiveness. For a long part of this series, it was RJ Barrett, but it really should have been Randle and RJ Barrett. This game, they all went quiet. Oh, man. Hit that like button for me. Really appreciate it. Appreciate that. We got over 112 in the chat. Love it, man. This is, it's tough to deal with, but at the same time, it's amazing that we're even here. We even have this opportunity. It's crazy to look at this box score and see Isaiah Hartenstein, 0 3-point attempts. 0 3-point attempts. Definitely going to use that. Definitely, the guy can shoot. He can shoot from the 3. He's not, high volume guy, but he can definitely shoot from the 3 a little bit. Oh, man. Fuck. Really sucks. I'll say, though, the output in this series, though, was a little more different. Brunson shot 50.4% in this series that we just saw. 34.7% from the three-point line. R.J. Barrett shot 37.8% from the three-point line in this series. Again, the top two three-point shooters for the Knicks were Barrett and Brunson. There's something there. There's a nice combination between the two. It's going to be interesting. I have a feeling that Dame Lillard is going to make himself available. And I would love to add Dame Lillard to this team. I know he's a small guard, but the man, can that guy shoot. When a team is struggling to make buckets, he's someone that you want out there, just like Jalen. But his range is infinite. He would be a tremendous addition to this team. Could, Julius Randle, Emmanuel Quickly, and whatever else they need. I don't know. In a bunch of draft picks. Could that do it? It probably should. It probably should. Splash 1976 says, if we get Dame, we need a new coach. Thibs' offense is terrible. 100% agree with that. But Thibs isn't going anywhere, guys. He's not going anywhere. He's just not going anywhere. I mean, it's hard to. I mean, you could try and create all these arguments or whatever. There's just no way that Leon Rose would fire Thibs this offseason after taking us to the Eastern Conference Finals, Eastern Conference semifinals, winning the first round over the Cavs. There's no way they're going to fire him if they didn't fire him after last season. Last season was a total debacle. Completely underachieved team. And this season, we're one of the final 8 teams standing. No way Thibs is getting fired. So that's the issue with that. So who else? I want to hear from you guys. Who do you think we could add to this team without losing too many key pieces that would have helped us get to the Eastern Conference Finals? Who do you guys think? Just drop names in the chat there. I see Randall for Cat, 1 for 1. The problem with the Cat is, to me, he seems kind of like he doesn't have the negative aspects. He's not like what Keese calls him, momentum vampire. Yeah, he's not like that, but he's not a winner. He's not a winner. But if he comes here understanding his role, that he would be the number 2 or 3 guy on the team, that could work. That could work. He's probably, he considers himself the best big man three-point shooter in the game, ever, in the history of the game. Legitimate argument. Could work. But then there's that weird dynamic with Cat and Thibs, though I did read or hear something that there is no issue. So let's hope that's true. Foxy, what's up, brother? Foxy says Mikal Bridges. Mikal Bridges is interesting. It's interesting. That would require a Knicks trade, and they rarely, if ever, make any significant trades. They do small players here and there. We did acquire Bernard King from the Nets, though. And that's probably why the Nets don't do it anymore. They learned their lesson. Nets ain't letting him go. Splash 1976 says, yeah, I agree with that. Cheers. Having an espresso martini. Jose Castillo asks, George, do you think that Randall is draining energy out from New York RJ development as a player? Do you think that with Randall free, Knicks all players will play better? Yes, I understand exactly what you're saying. I've thought that for a very long time. I have thought that Randall has had a negative impact on RJ the entire time they've played together. I do. And there is a possibility that a team without Randall, that RJ could even flourish more so. There's a possibility. You know, like Randall, when he gets the ball, he like stops, he looks at the defense, and immediately all the energy in the possession just drains out of it. And then he's got to create something out of it. Well, you know what? It works when you're playing against the bottom 22 teams in the NBA, because they don't have power forwards or big men who can defend you. But the top 8 teams do. They slow you down. I did not see Randall at all cook and get into the paint and dominate the way we've seen him do it in the regular season. Now, maybe you can say, oh, the ankle. Well, if it's the ankle, bro, then sit your fucking ass down. What the fuck you doing out there? If you're really compromised, sit your fucking ass down. But he claims ankle's fine. Well, how come you couldn't beat anybody off the dribble? Literally zero. I don't remember him blowing past anybody at all in the past couple of games. No, I would not trade RJ Barrett for Cam Thomas. I would not. I don't think Thomas has the first of all, his defensive ceiling. There isn't. It's there. His head is already butting up against it. So defensively, he's never going to be much. Where RJ, I can see him becoming a better defender, learning technique, learning tactics, getting these little savvy things that you see what Lowry and Butler do. You know, you just put RJ in a film session, just watching those guys. He's going to adapt and get better. And I do believe over time, you know, guys who want to get better, they do become better, and they become better shooters. I could see RJ becoming a much more better, consistent shooter. Cam is a tremendous scorer, but look what happened to him. He disappeared in the playoffs. Completely disappeared in the playoffs. He was a non-factor for the Nets in the playoffs. And that team doesn't have Durant and any of the big names anymore. So he could have been there. So I wouldn't trade for him. But I would trade RJ for somebody. I'm not saying I wouldn't trade RJ. I just wouldn't trade it for him. Who else? You guys drop any other names in the chat? Just curious. Shout out to the chat. Thank you guys for joining me here. We got Jackson Michael. We got JB23. JB23 says, where I lost it now. Sorry, I lost that, brother. You put it. I mean, RJ definitely has a lot of room to grow, but this playoffs for him was a coming out party. I mean, a 22-year-old guy to average almost 21 points per game in a tough series against a savvy Miami Heat team who match up well with him. You know, they got guys to match up with him, and RJ still was able to average over 20 points per game and shot almost 38% from the three-point line. If it weren't for tonight's game, he was shooting 41.2% going into this game for a three-point line, but you know, he just couldn't hit anything tonight. I think he definitely has a lot of room to grow, and I think he will find that room to grow. Yeah, when you look at it, I mean, he had a nice series, but nice series don't get you where you need to go. All right, Drew Reviews asks, George, do you think Leon should pursue Trey Murphy? 100%. Just don't see why New Orleans would trade him, but if it's possible, yeah. Same with Terry Eason. I like him too, Francisco Carrillo. Like those guys. Dro loves to hate says Julius is gone this offseason. I hope so. I will say this though. I highly doubt it. I highly doubt that Leon will also make that move. I think they're going to sit there and they're going to try to figure out, okay, well, maybe Quentin Grimes isn't the answer at the 2. Maybe we bring in someone who's just a tremendous shooter and can give you some defense. The problem is when you have a point guard like Brunson, who is a defensive liability, I'll tell you, and he did cost us. I would think, from a defensive standpoint, he did cost us a couple of games in these playoffs. Just the reality of it, because whenever he's not giving you 35 points, the difference between the 25 and the 35 points is 10 points. That's the game, because he's giving up points. You know, he gets targeted. And he's trying to do what he can to help on defense, but a lot of times he's just caught on one end of the court when the ball swings to the other, and he's got to race over to the other side. He's trying to pick up charges, but then it turns into blocking calls. He still gets some of them, but it's a lot of wear and tear. And he's a liability on the defensive end, so that means you have to put a stellar guard next to him. Stellar defensive guard. And, Quentin Grimes, he's also battling some injuries. He only ended up shooting 28.6% in this round. In the 6 games he played, 5.8 points, less than Obi. Obi averaged 6 points per game in this series, and he only played 14.7 minutes per game. Grimes, Mitch, and Hartenstein all played more than Obi and all averaged less points per game than Obi. Now, I'm not surprised about Mitch and Isaiah, but Grimes had to have picked it up. It's easy to put this all on. I mean, look, Randall deserves what all the smoke I'm giving him. But Quentin Grimes, if he had hit a couple of those 3-point looks that he got, if he had hit 2 of them, we might win this game. We got Emmanuel quickly, too. He was definitely missed. Josh Hart averaged 30 minutes a game. Gave us less than 10 points a game. He averaged 9.3 points per game on 41.5% shooting. And from the 3-point line, 23.8% shooting. And from the free throw line, Josh Hart shot 53.8%. That's a crime. That's a crime. Now, his defensive versatility is tremendous. No doubt about that. But that is a crime right there. Wow. But the Knicks have not been in a better situation since 1999. Honestly, we're in a great spot right now. Like I said earlier, we don't have a first-round draft pick yet, right now, but you never know. We might get lucky. We have all of our draft picks moving forward. If a disgruntled star who could truly impact winning makes themselves available, the Knicks are ready to pounce. And now the main question that was always hanging over this franchise, which was the question that a star would ask themselves, which was the reason that Kevin Durant made the most monumental mistake of his career. First of all, it was a twofold mistake. First one was leaving Golden State. Stupid. And the second one was choosing the Nets over the Knicks. Now, at the time, the thinking was he didn't want the burden of having to revive and resuscitate a franchise. Pussy. You could have been king of New York, Durant. But whatever. You made your choice. Now you lost out there in Phoenix. But the issue was he didn't want to come resuscitate a franchise, an unproven franchise, a mismanaged franchise. Well, all of those things have been calmed. They've been turned into positives now. So we're one of the final 8 teams that survived in the postseason. We're a gritty team. We're scrappy. And we're a team that has a very young core that is only going to improve. So you add a guy to this team and maybe a couple other pieces to upgrade certain other parts of this roster, and this team could be back here a year from now, and I could be having a very different conversation with you guys. I could be talking to you guys about how are we going to win the Eastern Conference Finals. Let's hope. That would be a beautiful thing. Who else we got here in the chat? Sandman, Kawhi, why not just tell Thibs not to use only just before playoffs? Kawhi, I can't trust Kawhi. The guy's too injury prone. I'm not trading anything for him. Seriously. I love him. He's tremendous when he's healthy. When he's healthy, it's Curry, it's LeBron, and Kawhi. All right, those guys are winners. No doubt, but Kawhi just gets hurt too much. So I wouldn't do it. Siakam. Jose Castillo comes in with a very, very interesting suggestion. That's kind of along the lines of what I'm thinking. Someone like Siakam. That's a good one. But I wouldn't have Siakam with Randall on the team. That's an interesting name. I like Siakam. What's Foxy say? If the Knicks pay Josh Hart more than 3 years, 3 years to $45 million, they're crazy, reluctant shooter, and has difficulty defending speed. Yes, I mean, there's a number for him, and I think that would be a good number. That'd be an excellent number. But I also need you guys all have to inflate all your numbers by like 20%. Because the cap's going up, the TV deal is huge. There's a lot of money flooding into the NBA, and it's going to be hard for us to make the adjustment. Or like, what do you mean you're going to pay that guy what so and so was getting? No, there's no sense of you got to stay in tune with the current climate in terms of the finances. So 3 for 45. You want to pay him $15 million a year. I think a guy like Josh Hart probably makes 17. Can make like 17, 18 million a year. But it's within the similar realm. And maybe we can structure it in a way where it's a little more beneficial for us, but I think somewhere in there we can get him. But I love the Siakam idea. OG Anunoby, he's another interesting Toronto guy. He's interesting as well. Jeremy Grant is a free agent. Yeah, but we don't have free agent money. We'd have to do a sign and trade, I believe. Yeah. But already some interesting names. Damian Mann says, Wilbon said before the game, the Knicks are a season away. They'll be great next year. That might be true. Yes, OG is only 25. Considering, Drew's Reviews Music says, considering that the Raptors are clearly going to rebuild after firing Nick Nurse, I like Siakam on the Knicks. I like Siakam on the Knicks too, man. He's long, he can defend, and the man can shoot from all over the place. He's a 3-level scorer. And he's not a number one, which is the position that he was put in Toronto. So Brunson is clearly a number one. So Siakam would be a really nice number 2 piece. And he's already proven himself in the playoffs. So it could be interesting. Let's see. Yeah, Josh Hart is a glue guy. Yeah. He is a glue guy. Josh Hart was tremendous. He's a reason why the Knicks made the run and we got the 5th seed, and he's a big reason why we beat the Cavs. We can't forget about all that stuff. You know, we can't be prisoners of the moment, but we can't ignore the reality of the moment either. But we can't be prisoners of it where we think, you know, it's like he helped us beat the Cavs. He was instrumental in that. He helped us. When we traded for him, we went on a 9-game run, a 9-game winning streak. I mean, that's tremendous. Can't be understated. But he was not shooting well for Portland when he came to us, and then he just caught fire, started shooting tremendously. But then you saw how people level out. They come back. They go back to what they were. And he did that in this playoffs, unfortunately. AJ says Knicks def need a miracle after this game. Why do we need a miracle? The game's over. The series is over. The season's over. The miracle should have been before this. The miracle would have been if we won all 3 straight and beat the Miami Heat. But it was possible. You guys saw it was possible. I mean, this game was right there. We almost won this game. What else? Francisco Carrillo says Thibs used J Hart way too much, took away his effectiveness with the minutes. It's very legit. Sabonis, there's no way Kings are trading Sabonis. He fits too well with what the Kings are doing over there, and the Kings just went up against the the former champions. So, and there's I don't know what the score is right now with the Lakers, but I'm thinking the Warriors are gonna win. Oh, but the Lakers are winning right now. 5 minutes left in the third, 76-63. Again, it's hard to win on the road, but they're taking care of business. Lakers could win. This could be wild. AJ is drinking. I meant for next season. Oh, yeah. Let's see. We came close. Guys, man. What a great run. We had a great run. It was, the difficulty is, and this is something that I talk a lot about with Foxy and Keese and JD. It's I forgot the term, but there's like the opportunity cost. I don't even know if that's even the right term. It's not even the right term. But the thing is that suddenly an opportunity presented itself in front of us when the Bucks went down. When the Bucks went down and we were able to beat the Cavs, you're like, wow. We see the Celtics and Sixers kind of struggling, and then you see a lane right there. A lane from where we were to the finals. If our guys stepped up and played the way we've seen them play. Like if Randall played even close to what he played during the regular season, we would have won this series. That is a fact. That's just the reality. If Randall had played true to himself, Knicks would be the ones waiting for the winners of the Sixers and Celtics series. So that part is hard to stomach. It's hard to deal with. But in reality, nobody had us here in this situation. None of the prognosticators had us here. I mean, I did, but, people call me a homer. Man, I'm proud of my team at the same time that I'm in agony. Pure agony. But in the off season, let's talk about the off season. In the off season, I'm going to talk about each player that I think is going to stay around. And I'm going to begin with Jalen Brunson. Jalen, you were fantastic this year. I mean, beyond anything I could have hoped for. Thank you for coming to the Knicks. You have been a revelation, truly, and you deserve to be an all-star, and you deserve to be an all-NBA point guard. There's no doubt about that. What I would like for you to work on is identifying the moments where you need to release the ball to find your teammates earlier. I need you to identify that, or I need you to work on that in the off season, because often, even though you would end up scoring, the downside is that somebody else on the team isn't getting a touch or a look or an attempt to try to find their stroke, because you cannot win a game all by yourself. You tried, brother, and you almost did it, but you can't. And you definitely can't win 4 games all by yourself. You need your teammates, and that comes from being a part of a ball-moving offense, which is not something that you used to. You didn't come up in that in Dallas, and in this season, the same thing. But you must identify that the way to win is by moving the ball. Moving the ball. So I want you to work on that. Work on that. RJ Barrett. Work on your jump shot, bro. Work on that three-point shot. You've got the game. You've got the finishing. You've got it. You've worked it out, and I know you're going to improve on that. It's only going to get better, but you need the mid-range game, which you're not going to use it all the time, but you need it for when the lane clogs up and you can't find another teammate that could be open. You're going to have to take that mid-range shot, and you took one today, and you made it. You know, and the previous game, you made a couple of them. Got to work on that and your three-point shot. That thing has to become a consistent shot. Consistent 38, 39% three-point shot for you. I think it's in your wheel. I think it's possible for you to do that. I think it's 100% possible. And you need to protect the ball more, work on your handle, and lean into the playmaking. Your playmaking could be the secret weapon for this team next season. If you're still on this team next season, which I think you will be and you deserve to be, your playmaking ability is something that Brunson can't provide us, because you're 5 inches taller than Brunson. Your ability, your court vision is just much better. So you need to lean into that, make plays for your teammates. And you did cut out the chucks, the desperado attempts when you're trying to get to the rim. You cut that down tremendously, almost cut it out completely. We saw a few of them this game, but they weren't chucks. They were legitimate good shots. They just didn't go in. But you need to work on your three-point shot. Quentin Grimes. You got to work on your handle. Got to trust yourself as a playmaker. Trust yourself as a shooter. When you got that ball, and I want you to work on your off-the-dribble three-point shot. Side steps, step backs, work on all of that. You have to turn into one of the top three-point shooting guards in the NBA. It's in your wheelhouse. You can do it. That, coupled with your defensive tenacity, will make you one of the top two-way shooting guards in the NBA. Lean into that. Emmanuel Quickley, my other son. It sucks that you got injured, and in a lot of ways, it really kind of cost us this series, even though you weren't lighting it up numbers-wise, but just what you provide on the court, your ball handling, and that you give Jalen Brunson a break. Can't be understated how important that is. But you cannot go on these droughts, bro. Cannot. Just keep working on what you've already developed. The floater game is there. I love the way you were finishing high off the glass on the drives. I loved all of that you provided. But your three-point shot has to become more consistent. Especially the same exact three-point shot homework that I'm giving Quentin Grimes, I'm giving it to you too. Emmanuel Quickley. Giving it to you too. Mitch Robinson. I love you, bro. I love you, but you've got to develop some moves, some go-to moves. It would be such a tremendous relief to be able to dump the ball down to you and you just do a little spin, little jump hook, whatever. Develop some moves. Sign up with Camp Elijah Wan this summer. Go down there for 2 weeks and just become a sponge and learn everything you can from that man. He was one of the greatest low post scorers in the history of the game that anyone will ever see. He'll teach you everything you need to know. Julius Randle. Man, you're frustrating, bro. You're such a frustrating person. I mean, seriously, you're a very frustrating person. Sometimes you do things that are just phenomenal, just incredible. You're just unstoppable. But you need to continue on this journey that you put yourself on to control yourself more. You started becoming unraveled, especially in the latter half of the season. You know, the tight defenses kind of got to you. The refereeing kind of got to you. You know, there was the return of you pushing teammates and fighting and arguing. It returned, like stupid technical fouls, all of that stuff. The brooding. You have to figure out a way to leave your ego, the ego part, not the competitive part, not the pride, but the ego, where you look at everything where it's about you. No, bro. It's about the team. It's about the city. It's about us. You are our representative. When you act like an asshole, we all look like assholes. It's just bad, and it kills the morale of the team. And I'll say, shout out to the rest of this team for dealing with Julius Randle's shenanigans. Shout out to them. You should buy each one of them a gift, Julius, for them having to deal with your broodiness. You were much better this year than you were last year. There's no doubt about that. No doubt about that. But there are levels for you to go. Levels for you to go. Whether you're with the Knicks or you've shipped somewhere else, or you find a nice place to go, you're still going to have the same issues unless you work on that further. Oh, we got a super chat from ELCJ. Thank you so much, man. I really appreciate it. What should we do about Obi? He is being wasted. That's great. I was coming to Obi right now. Obi Toppin. Obi Toppin is difficult because, he's in kind of a contract situation. We can keep him for next year, but then he'll be he could be an unrestricted free agent depending on how we deal with him. Obi, you got to get tougher. You got to work on your rebounding. You got to work on your handle more. You have a decent one, okay one. You're tough because you have these long legs, so your dribble is high. You got to crouch down a little more. Got to work on your defense. I think Obi, I still believe in you, bro. I still believe that if you were a starting power forward in the NBA, you'd average 20 and 8. Nothing has changed about that. You are, sometimes you come across a bit soft. So I would work on removing that label. That's most important. And keep working on an outside shot. But the mid-range game, the finishing game, those also need help as well, because I see hesitance a lot of times. I see confusion on how to navigate through a crowded paint in the NBA. In college, it was a different story because you were usually the biggest guy on the court or one of the biggest guys on the court. But in the NBA, there's 3 other guys on the court that are your size, and they start clogging the paint, and then you have the savvy, smaller guys who come in and try to strip the ball away from you. All of that you're going to have to learn to adjust to. But I have a feeling that you can. You can. You can do it. But Obi, there's also a reality that you might get traded this summer. And if you do, I wish the best. I will always root for you, bro. I will always root. I would root for everybody on this team. I'll root for Julius Randle, for him to find the right headspace that would allow him to have the confidence in himself, so that he can bring his A game in the playoffs. Your playoff disappearance is disconcerting, and I just don't see how a team can build around you until you solve that. Who's left? Miles, Deuce McBride. Deuce, yeah, improve your handle. Improve your handle and your shooting. I mean, and your playmaking. I mean, those are three big things. But I saw them all improve from last year to this year. You got to just keep working on that. I love your defensive tenacity. I think you were underused all season, in my opinion. I think you were underused in these playoffs. You could have been a key part of this. Could have been a key part of us advancing to the next round. Now I'm going to talk to Tom Thibodeau. Thibs, first thing I want to say is thank you for finally waking the fuck up. Finally understanding that you have guys on this roster who can contribute. I appreciate that you finally woke up to that reality. It took a long time, way too long. We had to suffer through the Elfrid Payton situations, Alec Burks starting point guard situations. Emmanuel Quickley could be a starting point guard by now in the NBA. He could have had tremendous value last offseason trading him. We probably could have gotten Donovan Mitchell for Emmanuel Quickley if you had started Emmanuel Quickley last year, at least for the second half of the season. I appreciate you finally embracing the youth on this team. But you got to get a little more creative in your offense. You have to lean into ball movement, increase the pace. These are things you spoke of early on in the year, and the team just went away from it. Now, it's possible that it's because of, the players that you had on your roster. You can only do so much with the players you have. I mean, Randall is just not that kind of player, so that makes it difficult. But you are the head coach. You have to figure it out. Your in-game adjustments are lacking. You must improve on all of that. Your obsession with double teaming and switching, in the end, it ends up always hurting you, always killing us. It gets us through certain things, but at the end of the day, the over-switching, smart teams find a way to beat you. And they did tonight. And they ended the series. And they ended your season because of that. You're very easy to adjust to. So you got to become craftier as a coach. And Leon Rose, thank you as well for bringing Josh Hart to this team and giving us this tremendous run since the trade deadline. And thank you for not overpaying for Donovan Mitchell. Thank you for signing Jalen Brunson and Isaiah Hartenstein. Thank you for holding on to Mitch. Thank you for all of that. But we're here. This team is ready. It's time to step it up. Little moves, those are fine when you're like a Denver and you have a tremendous core like a Jokovic and Murray and Aaron Gordon. We don't have a core like that. We have a Brunson. Barrett is a good player, a nice player. I still believe he could be an all-star one day, but we already have an all-star on our team, and he just doesn't deliver in the playoffs. So you need to find a solution to the Julius Randle situation. You must find it, which means you must trade Julius Randle this offseason. I will consider it an absolute failure if you do not trade Julius Randle this offseason. This is the moment to do it. Two-time All-NBA guy, you can find a great deal for Julius Randle this offseason. 2 years ago, I could see the hesitance. Of course, it made no sense. This guy suddenly popped, became an All-NBA and an All-Star. Yeah, he shriveled, disappeared in the post-game series against the Atlanta Hawks. But I could see talking yourself into, he's a great asset. Let's sign him long-term. And, maybe he's a piece. Well, last year, he proved not to be. This year, he recaptured all of that, but we still see now. That's what the main two main questions were answered in this postseason. Two main questions. The first one was, what is R.J. Barrett? Is R.J. Barrett a piece? The answer was yes. R.J. Barrett is a piece. Doesn't mean he's like the piece. No. He's a good third or fourth guy on a championship team. At the moment, he's only 22. Could, by the time he's Randall's age, could he be a number 2 guy? I hope he will be. I think he can be if he works on his handle, decision making, and his mid-range game, which they're all there. We've seen glimpses of it all. So it's not like he has to reinvent himself. He just has to work on that more. But so that's a great big question that was solved. He is a piece. But Julius Randle has proven that he's not a piece. That's what we've learned in this postseason. Julius Randle is not a piece you can build a team around. So you must deal with that. We're not the Denver Nuggets. You must deal with Julius Randle. Leon Rose. All right. Thank everybody for joining me here and listening to me. I appreciate it. The future is bright. Kay sings. That is right. Absolutely. Great point. Lex the Destroyer. Thibs. Confidence killer. Thibs does kill guys' confidences. But, shout out to the players. They keep, holding it together and responding. So that's fantastic. That shows the kind of grit that these players have on this roster, and I'm really proud of that. Let's see, what do we got? Shalahashka Revolver says New York got better season than Mavs, who have Luka and KY, and call it a good season for me. Absolutely, it's a good season. Absolutely, it's a good season. This was a tremendous season. Fantastic season for us. Incredible. But now you got to start looking at what to do next. How do we improve on this team? Because in life, if you stay where you are, you're going to get passed by. It's going to happen. There's a whole younger generation of players coming. There's the Detroit Pistons. There's the OKC, Houston Rockets, Orlando Magic. Orlando Magic, I think we're a 500 team in the second half of the season. I think, or something close. They're coming. They're coming. The younger teams. So we cannot stay still. We cannot be complacent. We have to become proactive. And I think the best and smartest way is by moving on from Julius Randle. That's how I feel. All right. I don't want to sign off because it would be the end. It would be the end of the season. It sucks. Shout out to Lex the Destroyer. Thank you so much, brother, for holding it down. Yes, we're still proud, but we want more. I want the ring, man. I want the ring. I want the ring. I don't get one personally, but I want my guys to have the ring. I want to finally... Man, I want the Knicks to be champions again. Yeah. There is a move that we can make, but it requires risk. But if it worked, I think we'd be favorites in the East. I'm not going to tell it what it is now. That's what I'm going to use for the off season. But I think there are some moves that we can make for the Knicks to become a legitimate contender next season. So stay tuned for that. In the off season, I'll be diving into more draft. Of course, the draft. Even though we don't really have a pick, but still going to dive into the draft because it all affects us. If other teams improve, not. But also, we might get lucky. We might get the Mavs pick. You never know. But I'll be breaking that down. We'll be looking at free agents. We'll be looking at roster construction, trades. We'll be looking at all of that this summer. So stay tuned. Turn on the notification bell so you're alerted, especially in the off season. Because it's more random. There's more of a random component to when the videos drop. So turn on the notification bell for that. And look, if you guys come up with some ideas, interesting ideas, you can reach me on Twitter or just drop it in a comment on any of the any of the videos, because I see all the comments and I read them all. Even if I don't comment, it's hard to comment on everything. You know, if I get into it, I could literally eat up a whole day sometimes responding. But I do read every single comment, and I appreciate them tremendously. They help me a lot. Yeah. Splash 1976 says, this is still one of the best futures we've had in a long time. 100%. Yeah. You know, once the sting and the pain of this loss and this series starts fading away, we'll be able to enjoy the beauty of what the season was a lot more. I think we're in a great place. Okay. Thank you so much for watching this, guys. I appreciate it tremendously. I probably will do a more thorough full season recap of the whole season. And I'd like to get some people, interview some people. I'm going to set up the phone calls and have some more people join me and stuff on this. Sometimes my schedule's a little tricky, so it's difficult, but I'm definitely going to do all of that. So definitely, stay tuned and be a part of it all. And I want to thank you guys tremendously, seriously, from the bottom of my heart. It'd be impossible for me to do this without the tremendous support that all of you give me here on Into the Knicks-Verse. Tremendous. All right. I'm going to sign off now. It was a tremendous season. I predicted 47 wins. The Knicks got 47 wins. I predicted the Knicks would beat the Cavs in 5. The Knicks beat the Cavs in 5. I thought the Knicks could win in 7 against the Heat. We fell 1 game short. I mean, technically 2 games short, but we fell 2 games short. But we got close. We got really close. All right. Knicks Nation, Knicks family, Into the Knicks-Verse. Thank you so much for watching this and all of the videos this year. I will see you around.